Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today's video, we're going to be touching on a reboot of a show that I grew up with. It was back in the early 2000s. It ran, I want to say, from 2000 to 2006. But they are rebooting, bringing back Malcolm in the Middle. Now, with this is a 4-episode reboot or revival or what have you for Disney Plus. And it's been something that's it's been in the works for quite some time. The stars, Frankie Muniz and Bryan Cranston, who have kept in touch over the years and everything, they've always wanted to revisit these characters, and they are finally getting their wish. They're supposed to go into production here in the near future. They don't have an exact release date yet, but it's supposed to hopefully release before the end of this year. But the kind of the good news, bad news scenario for this, that all the original cast is coming back, with the exception of Eric Sullivan, who played the younger brother Dewey. He will not be back. Instead, the part will be recast and replaced with the actor Caleb Ellsworth Clark, who will step into the role of Dewey. He has been acting since about 2013. He's got a handful of credits to his name, and surprisingly enough, he actually looks a little bit like Eric Sullivan. Eric Sullivan, he actually left the industry. He didn't want to do it anymore. Shortly after Malcolm in the Middle wrapped, actually back in 2006, he'd had a handful of other credits, I think, maybe one or two after the end of that show, and then he decided that the Hollywood acting scene just wasn't for him. So he kind of just hung it up, and he's off doing something else at a university, according to the actress who played his mother, Jane Kasmarek. She said recently that he's off at a university and he's very happy and everything, and it wasn't for him. He didn't want to do it anymore, which, you have to respect that, recognizing early that's the business, the business of Hollywood isn't for everybody. And he kind of discovered early, being that he was only probably 14, maybe even a little bit younger, when the show ended, just decided it wasn't for him anymore. He didn't want to do it, so he's off doing his own thing. But aside from that, we are getting the bulk of the original cast coming back. Of course, Frankie Muniz, Bryan Cranston, Jane Kasmarek, Christopher Masterson, and Justin Burfield, who played the other two older brothers, respectively, of Malcolm. But with the controversy that has surrounded the Masterson family, I'm kind of surprised he's coming back. But I guess he's kind of managed to sidestep all of that stuff and get back into the shoes of Francis, who was the oldest brother of the, I think turned out to be 5 brothers, because they have Malcolm, Reese, Francis, Dewey, Jamie, who was born, I want to say, in the 4th season, and then they hinted at them being pregnant with their 6th child there at the end of the series. So we're getting that, and along with the original cast coming back, we do have some newcomers. Aside from Caleb Ellsworth Clark, who will play Dewey, we have the newcomers of Anthony Timpano, who will play Malcolm's youngest brother, Jamie, and Von Murray, who will play Malcolm's youngest sibling, Kelly. So they are coming back with a girl this time around, because it was always the boys there. They were always causing chaos, causing trouble wherever they went. And it was just the hilarity of that really made the show, just the things that they got into and just the development of the characters over time. Because with Malcolm kind of being the genius and everything, he was always in the special classes, Reese being the dumb one, Francis being the big troublemaker going off to military school and whatnot, and then slowly kind of growing up and being more responsible. We had Dewey, who was also very musically talented and kind of a genius in his own right. And then you had Jamie, who didn't really have a lot of screen time because, I mean, he was only a small child when that show kind of came to the close and everything. But then they hinted at this other pregnancy, so they have a daughter now. And from the description that I read, she's kind of on that bright side too. So we have that, and then along with that too, they are bringing in the characters of Leah, who will be played by Keely Karsten, who's actually Malcolm's daughter. And then they have Kiana Madeira, who will play his charming and opinionated girlfriend, Tristan, who is way out of his league. So, they have a lot going on, and kind of the basis of this comeback, this story, is that Hal and Lois want Malcolm to come back home for their 40th anniversary. So, kind of just bringing all the kids back together, getting Malcolm kind of drugged back into that chaos, and just, I'm sure it kind of starts off as kind of a wholesome kind of thing, and then just being that all these boys are together for probably the first time in a very long time, that it just blows up and they get into all kinds of shit. So I'm very excited to see what this next adventure will hold, considering that show ran during kind of my younger years too, because that show ran, I think, anyways, like I mentioned, from about 2000, ended in 2006. From that span of time, I was in roughly, you know, high school to graduating high school in 2003, and kind of my early 20s, late teens, right there. So very excited to see just what this show will entail, what they will do with these characters, and just the story itself. I'm just interested to see where it's what's going on after all of these years, because the last thing that we saw from Malcolm was that he was being a janitor, but also while going to school. So it should be just fun to revisit these characters and see what they're up to after all these years, and just see Bryan Cranston back into this kind of goofy part, considering he became very well known for being Walter White in Breaking Bad and just the other things that he's done over the years. So just kind of going back to where he really made a name for himself, and so just really excited to see all these characters come back. It's a bummer that Eric Sullivan won't come back, but you can understand too, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. So that's just unfortunate that it worked out that way. But I'm wish him all the best and his endeavors and everything. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing, come back for content just like this. I'm going to be touching all kinds of new stuff. So I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.